Here's something nobody tells you before you grab a box of brake pads off the shelf. The box that looks the most upgraded is sometimes the one most likely to leave you back at the shop in 6 months. Squealing, shaking pedal, brake dust that won't wash off, none of that is random bad luck. It almost always comes down to one decision made at the parts counter, and most drivers never even know they made it. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what separates a brake pad that quietly does its job for 50,000 miles from one that has you back under the car before the year is out, and a trick mechanics use to tell when a pad is actually due for replacement versus when it just looks worn. Section 1. Why brake pads are all the same is the most expensive myth out there. A lot of drivers treat brake pads like windshield wiper blades. Grab whatever's cheapest, slap it on, move on. The problem is that a brake pad isn't one product. It's a recipe. Friction material, backing plate, shims, the way it's bonded together. Every one of those ingredients changes how the pad behaves once it's actually hot and under real load. Two pads can look almost identical sitting on a shelf and behave completely differently the first time you brake hard coming down a grade in July traffic. That's the gap most drivers never see coming. And the frustrating part is that you usually can't tell the difference just by looking at the box. The packaging doesn't show you the friction compound's heat tolerance. It doesn't show you the backing plate's manufacturing tolerance. All of that lives inside the part, invisible until it's already on your car and a few thousand miles into real use. Section 2. The warning signs of a budget pad gone wrong. Before we talk about what to buy, let's talk about what going wrong actually looks like, because the pattern repeats across almost every cheap pad on the market. It usually starts the same way. Everything feels fine for the first few hundred miles. Then a light squeal shows up at low speed, the kind you only notice pulling into a parking lot. A few weeks later, that squeal shows up more often, especially once the brakes get hot from stop-and-go traffic. Next comes the dust. You wash your wheels, drive 2 or 3 days, and they're already coated again. Then the uneven wear sets in, one pad wearing faster than its partner, which is what causes that slight pull or vibration you feel through the pedal. And the part that frustrates people the most, the actual stopping feel changes. The pedal goes from sharp to dull, like you have to push harder just to get the same result you used to get with a light touch. None of this happens because you did anything wrong. It happens because the pad material was built to hit a price point, not a performance target. Section 3. Why this happens. The price point problem. Most rock-bottom pad lines exist for one purpose only: getting a car back on the road for the lowest dollar amount possible. That's not inherently evil. Sometimes that's exactly what a situation calls for. But it comes with trade-offs baked in. Cheaper friction compounds tend to glaze over faster under heat, which is what makes braking feel less responsive in traffic. Backing plates stamped to looser tolerances can sit slightly off inside the caliper bracket, which makes the pad drag instead of moving smoothly, and dragging brakes build heat, and heat is where noise, dust, and uneven wear all come from. It's a chain reaction that starts with one small manufacturing shortcut. Picture it in real terms. You're sitting in rush hour traffic on a hot afternoon, riding the brakes in short bursts the way everyone does in stop-and-go conditions. A well-built pad shrugs that off. A pad with a marginal compound starts losing its bite right around the time you need it most. Exactly the situation where you really don't want to find out the hard way. Section 4. The 4 things that actually matter. So what should you actually be looking at instead of just the price tag? 4 things. First, the friction material itself: ceramic, semi-metallic, or a hybrid blend. Ceramic tends to run quieter and cleaner. Semi-metallic tends to bite harder and handle heat better, at the cost of more dust and noise. Hybrids try to split the difference. Second, the backing plate. Higher quality pads use precision-cut, fine-blanked plates that fit the caliper bracket exactly, instead of rough-stamped steel that can bind or rattle. Third, the shims, the thin layers that sit between the pad and the caliper piston. Mechanically attached shims hold up far longer than glued ones, especially once a pad has been through hundreds of heat cycles. Fourth, how the friction material itself is bonded to the backing plate. Pads where the material is mechanically anchored resist separating under hard, repeated braking far better than pads relying on adhesive alone. Section 5. Matching the pad to how you actually drive. Here's where most buying guides get it backwards. They tell you the best pad, like there's one universal answer. There isn't. There's the best pad for your car and your driving. If most of your miles are easy city driving and you mainly care about quiet, clean wheels, a quality ceramic pad from a respected line is going to make you happy. Brands like Akebano and Centric built entire product lines around exactly that experience. Smooth, predictable, low-dust daily driving. If you drive a European performance car and you're chasing that sharp, factory European bite without drowning your wheels in dust, that's where purpose-built European-spec ceramic lines earn their reputation. Pads engineered specifically to stay within tight OEM stopping tolerances. If you tow, drive a loaded SUV, or live somewhere with real mountain grades, you want a pad built for sustained heat. Something with venting or cooling channels designed into the shape itself, not just a flat block of friction material. That's the category where a slightly more expensive pad pays for itself the first time you're descending a long grade fully loaded. And if you genuinely push your car hard, aggressive street driving, occasional track days, frequent hard stops, that's where performance-focused compounds from brands like Hawk Performance and Brembo's higher tier lines come in. These aren't built around silence or spotless wheels. They're built around one thing: a pedal that stays predictable and strong even after the brakes are fully heat-soaked. Section 6. The case for OEM pads, even though they're not exciting. I know factory pads don't get anyone excited on a parts store shelf. But here's the thing most people miss: OEM pads weren't designed in isolation. They were engineered alongside your car's ABS system, suspension geometry, and rotor metallurgy, all tested together as one package. That's why OEM pads almost always feel smoother and more predictable than a random aftermarket swap. The fitment is built for your exact bracket, the noise damping is tuned for your exact suspension frequencies, and the heat transfer is matched to your exact factory rotor. If your priority is having the car feel exactly the way it did the day it left the factory, this is usually the safest bet on the shelf, even if it costs a little more. Section 7. The mechanic-level secret about when pads are done. Here's something a lot of shops won't spell out for you. When a tech tells you your pads are in the yellow at around 3 to 4 millimeters, that doesn't mean they're finished. A brand new pad typically starts around 10 to 12 millimeters, which means at 3 to 4 millimeters you can still have a meaningful amount of usable life left. Often another few thousand miles of normal city driving before replacement is truly necessary. That doesn't mean ignore your brakes. It means don't let anyone rush you into a same-day replacement off a quick glance through the wheel. Ask to actually see the measurement and make the call based on the number, not just the color on a sticker. At the end of the day, the brand on the box matters less than matching the pad's design to how you actually drive. A loaded SUV climbing mountain passes and a sedan doing quiet neighborhood errands have completely different braking needs, and the parts counter rarely tells you that part. If this helped you shop smarter next time you're standing in that aisle, drop a like, subscribe for more car care breakdowns like this one, and let me know in the comments what's on your car right now and how it's holding up. See you in the next video.